There's somebody talking. Oh, it's my father-in-law. I won't go down there. I'll let them do that. I'm choking. If you want some really good barbecue, I'd just like to point out, just a plain old barbecue sandwich when you're driving down the road. Smithfield Chicken and Barbecue. They did not pay me to say that. But I bought it, and I have not eaten it. I'm going to put it in this very crowded refrigerator. Are you ready to go night-night? Yes. Okay. Also in the refrigerator are 10 gallons of Pedialyte. Okay, let's get your medicine, okay?
We don't need to get your medicine.
We do?
No, that will make me sick.
It'll make you what? Sick. I don't think it will.
No. Don't get me some medicine.
It's not like him to be ready for bed. I was thinking we had 20 minutes. Hi, soup time. Well, looking like it's bedtime now. This is called trying to... I've been sitting here for an hour doing another mess and then thought, do a quick video. Oh, Carrie had her son Charlie on. I love him. I'm just recovering from a very big weekend.
No, it's so yucky.
Just take this then. That's
No.
No, this is not yucky. This is tiny.
No.
Okay, this or the liquid?
No.
Which one? Okay.
We don't take it.
Your husband only drinks great Pedialyte. Well, last night when he took his melatonin, he has kind of a cough. He threw up. But it was just like, almost like I am right now, just kind of stuffy-ish, you know. Organic throat coat. I'm gonna make some tea. I'm going to make some tea. With some slippery elm. Is it good? Oh, feels a little bit. Look what somebody brought me this weekend. Oh my God. This is why we can't have nice things. Look at all these. Look at this. Every great mom says the F word. Is that not great? I love it. Okay, well, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close that cabinet, move to another one. Yeah, so there's all this Pedialyte. I had these girls from Ohio here, and people from Ohio drink Pedialyte. Is your Tails Weekend only for women? Negative, Ghost Rider. We have lots of husbands. We have some really good collards left over and chicken and mac and cheese. We've got some, what are these? Blueberry peach mom water. I don't even know what the devil that is. Some La Crema. Some Saxenda somebody brought me. Does Amos swallow pills? No. That's like a chewable pill. Amos and I just have a little bit of a cold. Little tiny bit of a cold. These cabinets are so tall in this kitchen. Recovering from an action-packed weekend. I know it brought home a cold. It was probably like a COVID something. I do not like Pedialyte. I love slippery elm. So I was thinking this weekend, like, there are bound to be people out there that are like, what in the devil is a blog weekend? So this is your chance to ask some real questions. And then afterwards, I'm going to do a subscriber video. So this weekend, so I have, I don't know, 400,000 followers. And I have about 5,000 subscribers. And what we did this weekend was open to my subscribers. So not to 400,000 people, open to 5,000 people. And we had about 200 people come. And I think there's always just a lot of kind of, I guess, a little bit nosy Nellies, like, well, what are they doing? And what is she doing? And why do people go? And, blah, blah, blah. And I know that because several of my people that came said they were at Shrimp Fest or walking down the street or shopping, that people would say, like, I don't know what you're following her for. Which is great. Thank you for your own truthfulness to my followers. And that was probably 5 people. There were 90 zillion people. I mean, I have gotten the nicest messages from Byram Hardware. June Proctor sent me this really nice text. Ron Causey with the chamber sent me just a super nice text. I got a gift certificate from one of the stores. Edenton Coffee House brought me like 5 different baskets to share with some followers that we're going to do a little, I'm going to mail some of those out. And so yesterday I shared a post. I was told the opposite. A lady approached me and told me what a wonderful person you are and what good. And I bet I know who that is, Susan, because she is a big champion. Marianne Miller is always really friendly to me, if I had to guess. But anyway, so last night, Sherry Mills is actually who it was. Sherry shared this post, and I shared it about what is a follower, what is being a supporter. And I thought, she said herself, I'm not really a follower. I don't like to do what other people are doing. I'm independent. I'm my own person. And Sherry, I thought you articulated it so well. You said she has a child with a different disability, but she said, I was so alone. And that really is what it is. So I think people now see Adrienne thinks she's some big deal and she's having this weekend and blah, blah, blah. But really, you've got to get back to basics. And know that when I started this, I wasn't sleeping. I was terrified. Terrified. I had a darling 10-month-old baby who I had made my own, or made my pediatrician write a recommendation for early intervention. And the early interventionist came into my living room, and Amos was lying down on this rug in here in our old house. And I love her. And it was like an occupational therapist, a speech therapist, a physical therapist, and the coordinator. And they came in, and she looked at Amos, and he was lying down on the floor, and she said, what can he do? And I guess I just looked at her with a puzzled expression, and she said, is that all he can do? And it was clearly I remember it like it was yesterday. It was such a smack of reality to me. And it was pretty soon after, not quite after, maybe another year, but it was really when my brain started thinking, I'm going to drown in this. I'm terrified. Yes, I got punched. I am terrified. What is this going to look like? So when you ask yourself, why does she do these weekends? What does she think she's doing? What's her purpose? It's from that lonely moment. I was so alone, and I just didn't want to be alone anymore. I didn't have any friends that understood. None. Well, I had one friend, but she had moved from Chapel Hill, my friend Susan, in Edenton, because they had a little girl with special needs, and they had decided they were going to have to move. And so I had one friend, but nobody in my town, not one person, that I could reach out and say, what do I do? And it was so lonely. And so, I think God has a good plan for us. I think at the time I thought I'm going to write because I'm scared. But I think what God was doing was saying, you're going to write to build a community. So thankful to spend the weekend with you. Oh, Sarah, I loved having you here. And I had 4 moms stay with me. Well, I had 5 moms, but one mom who's a super good friend, and she was actually helping me like work for the week. She came all week. But my 4 other friends who are pretty new friends still. So I have these 4 special needs moms friends in my house this weekend. And it was obviously a really busy weekend. But we sat around this kitchen and we ate pub cheese and pretzels, and I watched one of them drink Pedialyte, or somebody had a glass of wine, or somebody was warming up, French fries. And we talked about things in a way that I never get to talk to somebody about, like, how do you get so-and-so to sleep? Or can you tell your daughter before you left town? It was Sarah, and she was like, no, I have to wait until I don't know what she said, Sarah. You said like 30 minutes before. Well, like this morning, I told Amos that we were going to Duke. I had to take my daughter to an appointment. She has scoliosis. And I told him last night, because in my mind, I want to give him a heads up. I mean, that is what Child Development 101 says. You give preparation. It does not work for children, at least this child with anxiety, autism. When you tell him something like that, he didn't sleep half a wink last night. That's probably why he's tired. Because he was so anxious worrying about me leaving. And here I had this mom, or these other moms that were like, yes, I get it. I don't get that. So when people are like, why do you have people staying at your house? It is such a gift to me to have a group of people that get it. I mean, it is amazing. The isolation is awesome. I thought I was the only person that had a child that didn't sleep and had such difficulties. He's 20 now. Oh, I bet that was really hard back then. No social media. Yes, preparing him and creating anxiety. Tamara, I mean, if you figured out, let me know. I'm a caregiver for my mom with dementia. I love being with her, but it's very lonely. Yeah, it's lonely. And so this weekend it wasn't just special needs moms. It was caregivers who had spouses that maybe were needy. It was maybe like you, caring for your parents. Maybe it was people that lived alone. Maybe they were divorced or had never married. Or maybe it was people that in other ways felt kind of left out of society. Or maybe they were people with disabilities themselves. It was it's just such a great thing. And I told this story the other night, but I think it's really important. When you look at the group of who came, and I said that there was this mom who had lost her child from brain cancer. And here this mom and my dad sit and talk for like 30 minutes. And holy wow, talk about community. Talk about my dad, who, to my knowledge, has never had a conversation with anyone who has experienced the same thing ever. That's what they talked about. 2 parents sharing common grief. And it's just so meaningful to have access to somebody who really gets it. Because I think people don't get it. And they try. Golly, my good friends try. They try so hard, and bless them for it. And I don't blame them. You like a little tea with your milk, baby. Oh, God, it tastes awful. What is that? They can't understand. How could I understand what it was like to take care of a parent? I can't understand those things either. And I think that for me, I saw families like my own before I was one of them. And I felt pity, and I felt admiration, because I thought, I just don't know how they can do that. I don't know how they could do that. And now I'm that person. I'm that person, I think, that people see and feel pity for. And maybe it's because we're in the grocery store and he's, you know, putting 10 boxes of brownies in the cart. Or maybe he's at school and they're having to call me because he needs to hear my voice. You know, I know that people think, holy crap. And I will never lie and say, it's such a blessing. It's such a gift. I love it. It is hard. Do I love him? Yes. Is it easy? No, sorry, Bobby. It is not easy. Your dad talked with me about having a purpose in life after retiring. Oh, Debbie, I'd like to hear more about that. I wonder what his purpose is. His purpose. He doesn't have Facebook. His purpose mainly seems to be to question most of my choices. He would admit that, actually. His purpose. I can't wait to tell my mom that. Here's Dad. I mean, have you turned off the water when it's cold? What are you thinking about Thomas? Is he gonna do Sunday school? Is he gonna do summer school when he gets into college? I really think he should just move on to campus and take a few classes for the summer. And Thomas, who's almost 18, is like, is he kidding? I was like, I don't know. It sounds horrible to me too. And then I'm like, maybe I'm not a good parent. Maybe my dad is the good parent and I'm not. I'm the child. I don't know. I'm just doing my best. But who wants to live on a new college campus all summer? The summer I lived at Carolina for grad school was the most depressing summer of my life. Ugh, landlocked. I mean, it does have to happen, but I would not do that. I need to get my dad over here helping me with my purpose. But anyway, I think if you wonder, what's it all about? That's really what it's about. And it's not about autism, and it's not about, it's not about any one thing. I think it's just about feeling you have a safe place to fall, Hold on, I'm going to get the link. And some of us don't need a safe place to fall. Some of us might have a safe place to fall just in our life. And they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to follow a blogger or to watch videos. Listen, I get it. You don't see me sitting around watching videos either. But if you are somebody that says, boy, I need a community. I want a community. I want a different community that I have access to, whether it's where I live or who I'm friends with, or it doesn't mean you can't have both. But I promise you, it just said that Carolina was calling me. It's like somebody from Carolina heard me say it was this sorriest summer of my life. Just kidding, Chapel Hill. I loved it. I loved the summer in Chapel Hill. Actually, the summer I spent in Chapel Hill, you know what was happening? They were filming the movie Patch Adams. So Robin Williams was on campus, and I used to see him a lot.
Mommy,
Yes.
can I try Disney?
Is it going to scare you?
No.
Oh, Candace. So Candace has Downtown Diva, and my people love some Candace and Downtown Diva. Reasonable prices, great clothes. I mean, they just had a ball. And Candace, you did not need to bring me a present. FYI.
Mommy,
Yes.
did they have Disney in the TV?
Do they have Disney in the TV?
Yes.
No.
They. You don't watch it. Mommy,
What?
you don't watch it.
You don't watch it. he basically is telling me, he asked me questions and then he already has the answer that I'm supposed to give. I'm not allowed to give the wrong answer. My in-laws are still down there. What are they talking about? They're talking about football. It's almost bedtime, 3 minutes. Yes. Anyway, yeah, so I felt like I had a really full life before I did this. And now it feels really, really, really full. But I can tell you it's been worth it to me. And no matter if anybody says, I don't know why she does that, or it always comes down to that little fella in there of why I started this. And how joy came back in my life. And I thought after my brother died that joy was gone. I thought that part of my life was over, and I was happy. I had a great husband. I had 4 children. We were, to me, living a pretty good existence, but I didn't have joy. And after I'd been sharing about probably a year and a half, I really realized that I was different. And I thought, I have joy again. I have joy again because I've shared all this burden that I had been tucking in and swallowing and shoving away and pretending wasn't happening. And all that hurt and heartache was weighing me down. I mean, I couldn't have joy because I was walking around with the weight of the world on my shoulders. And suddenly all that, it was like, after you've had the stomach bug, and you got, it's bad, you throwing up, you got the other, and you wake up and you're like, ooh, I feel good and I'm thin. That's what it's done to me. So when people say like, I'm private, I'm not, I don't like to share things, I will tell you that is your prerogative. You get to decide what you want to share. But I will tell you, I didn't have joy until I started sharing. And it's hard for me to not want other people to have that same feeling, And that is the truth. That is the truth. I started taking care of my sister with dementia this year. Some hours get hairy. I was thinking I love doing it, but losing some of my peace. Yeah, I think you have to come up with a way to support yourself too, And it's hard. Listen, I had worked all weekend. I had 200 people in my small town. Felt like I really wanted them to have a great time. And it was awesome. And today I had to take my daughter to Duke Hospital, which is 2.5 hours away. And Amos made me promise to pick him up from school this afternoon. Well, I knew my 14-year-old wanted to go shopping and we were going to, come back a little later. But I said, you know what? We got to get back. I got to get Amos from school. We had time to run in Lululemon. We picked up Jersey Mike's for her and got home to get him all at the same time. And it was the right decision because so often I do stuff for her because I've learned from siblings of others, like, here's what you need to do. And today it was right to come back. And I got there in time to get him from school. And they called down to his classroom. And all the other kids came. And he didn't come and he didn't come. And then I said to the office, where's Amos? Well, when they called down to the classroom, I think he was suspicious that it was somebody else picking him up. So his teacher said he wouldn't leave until he heard my voice. Oh, I'm not part of the club, said Missy. The new mom club. I was an outsider watching all the other new mom things that I would not experience. It was so isolating. Oh, I'm sorry, Missy. I'm sorry. I know that was hard. It's still hard. It's still hard. Amos's peer group they're playing travel baseball and they're going to soccer, and they're having spend the nights, and they can go on sailing races, and they can walk across the street by themselves or stay home for 10 minutes alone, or they have real friends and they can use the phone, like he's doing great, but he's not them. And it's hard. There's always a little bit of a pinch, that you feel, but that's why we have each other. And now, instead of swallowing that pinch, I'll say, you know what, that really is hard. And I might even cry a little bit. When did I cry? Did I cry today? Maybe it was yesterday. Sometimes I'll just have a good cry, and then I pick my chin up, and I'm good again. So, anyway, that's what I've learned. Oh, I thought that was the dog whining. It's something he's watching. So anyway, so if you need a safe place, you don't have to come to Edenton for the weekend. Yes, Kate Swenson calls them paper cuts. She sure does. She sure does. But it's a good group, and I would defend it to my life's end. I can't imagine a day that I just didn't do what I'm doing right now. Who knows what the future brings, but right now I feel like I am right where I need to be. I'm a custodian at Furman University. I had good friends that went there. I love to listen to you when I'm working. Natalie and I enjoyed being with you. Paige. Oh, love being with you. Such a treat. And I didn't know that you were a custodian at Furman. What a small world. Struggling without my husband. Yeah, and say it, Karen. I am really struggling. We have lots of widows here, I think. Really just an interesting group. Some moms that don't have kids with autism, or even they're just moms that are, what are you? Come here. Kate did not come, but my friend Carrie Chiarella was able to come with her husband. It was really fun. My friend Mary Scott Hagler with Perry and Company did tours, and that was awesome. My friend Lori did hair products and like a party at her salon. We were at the Oyster Bar for dinner. People went to Byram's and went shopping. They went to, a mom today at school said to me, my daughter made $40 in tips at the drugstore making orangeades. And, I thought to myself, I've never tipped when I've had an orangeade. And now I've learned something. I need to tip. And what a big deal it was for this teenager to have $40 in tips on Saturday. It's just awesome. Shrimp by the Bay, the Chamber did. It was just beautiful and amazing. Cheryl Orr had people for lunch all at Cotton Gin Inn Culinary. It was great. A Still Life store. They had tons of stuff. Polka Dot Palm. Christian Bookseller. North Number 4. The Coffee House. We had breakfast there Sunday. I mean, I've never seen people buying so many sweatshirts. And the other thing is, Eastern North Carolina has a population decline, and Edenton has had a population decline, but we've also had an income incline. And I really think, I was talking to a business owner downtown, and she said, we survive not just on hometown stuff, but we also survive because of tourism. And a weekend like a blog weekend or a Christmas tour weekend or the pilgrimage, or this year they're celebrating the Edenton Tea Party, and it's a big deal. It brings in a lot of revenue to our town, and that's how we're going to survive. I mean, I drove through Robertsonville today. I saw these beautiful houses. Once were beautiful. I saw a doctor's office closed. I mean, stuff's just shuttered, and it's sad. It's sad. So, we got to do this kind of stuff to keep our town going. We have all these boat businesses, which are great. They bring people into town. Are you going to do this next year? I may subscribe if I can get a fun weekend. Yes, we will definitely do it next year. The question is, will it be in the fall of 2024, a year from now, or will it be in the spring? We are going to ask the 200 people that came this weekend, because we did a cruise last year. And the cruise was real fun. Deborah, my first Tales weekend was so fun. Met so many great people with inspiring stories. Made new friends. Still not home. Think people will still come to see your town. Well, we have a pretty awesome town. And so it's fun to show it off and share it, you know? I've lived here 20 years. I'm from Rocky Mount, but I'm really proud of Edenton and what's happened. Last time the Edenton weekend was in the spring, and we had it over Easels in the Garden, which was great because Easels doesn't sell out of tickets. So you could buy a ticket and you got to go to her houses. So maybe we will do that again. I had a senior graduating this year, and I could not bear to do graduation and weekend. So this year I picked my own weekend when there was really nothing else drawing tourists to town. And that worked pretty well. I mean, we really took over the town, and I think it was welcomed. So it's kind of nice to take a random weekend where they weren't going to get business anyway, you know? Yes, my in-laws at Mulberry Hill gave tours. They're awesome. My husband took 987 selfies with people, which is great because he literally lets me take like one picture at Thanksgiving and then starts complaining about all the pictures. So it was so great for people to be like, get in the picture. Yeah, I was so tickled. Your in-laws were funny and such a delight. They really are. Okay, I gotta go get Amos to bed. But anyway, FYI, subscribers, see you around 9.